includes myself, Sajiko, Angilin, and Sahat. As you can see, this is our script. Okay, let me pass to Yilin.
As you can see, this is the script that we use to create a table. And after this, we are gonna order the table by adding the constraints, such as the including order create the index as well.
As you can see, the script has been run and there is no errors.
After the table, first we can add the foreign key, which are the CID reference customer. Moving to the slide, moving to the document, here are all the information like how we order the table for house, equipment, customer, service, employee, and agent.
Okay, so moving onward, another one of the ways that we use to alter the table, apart from adding the foreign keys, is using a method of indexing. Indexing in the house table is created in order to identify the address of the house, which consists of the house street name, house street city name, state name, and postal code. So as you can see, this was our SQL statement, and this proves that our index was created. Another place that we used the indexing was when we applied it to the customers table. So we altered the table of the customers. We created an index named customer name. We created it using the customer first name and customer last name. Moving onward to Eileen.
Moreover, we can order the table by using another method, which is to add the constraint check employee. The table consists of a check constraints. We need to apply a check constraint for salary, as if the salary it's more than 1,500. The data will not accept because the basic salary for the employee is 1,500, which is impossible to have the salary less than 1,500. So any of the data that is less than 1,500 could not be inserted into the table due to the constraint.
So another one of the ways that we use to alter the table is by checking the constraint again, but then this time we did not use the salary. Instead, this time we used to check that the number the number of the service info ID should be greater than 11,000. So that means that the service, this is in order to ensure that all of the service information ID should all resemble the same numbers, the same structures, so that it wouldn't be very complicated. Moving onwards, we have to implement two view statements. So as you can see, this is one of the examples of the view statement that we've used. So we created a view which is called Selangor houses, and we've selected house ID, house street, house city, and house state from house, where the house state is Selangor. So this is basically just going to be like a mini table or a temporarily small table that is going to consist of the house ID, house street, house city, and house state of only houses which are in Selangor. So as you can see, the result, the view was created. Our view that was created was we created a view of high earning employees. This is when the company would want to see the employees that work hard, or instances where the company would want to select the employee of the year or anything. They could just use this statement and create a mini view of the high earning employees, because the amount the employee earns is depending on how much work the employee does. So as you can see, we created a view of high earning employees. We selected the employee ID, employee first name, employee last name, and this involves the employees which get a salary of greater than 1,600. So as you can see, our view was created.
As you can see, after we input the data, this is the table of customer. Next. Table of employee, as we have the employee ID, employee first name, last name, and so on. Next. Then followed by the table of equipments, we have the equipment ID, equipment type, service ID, and so on. Then the table of house, as we have house ID, house type, house rates, and so on. And followed by the last table, which is the table of service info, as we have the service ID, the date of use, house ID, and so on.
Okay, furthermore, database query. There are 4 different SQL select statements in this query. Statement 1. This function is to check the availability of an equipment which will be called in trigger check insert equipment to check if the same equipment has been used by another employee by comparing the availability date. For loop is also used in this function to loop through every availability that exists in this database and compare each of the date. Next. As you can see, this is the results. Next. Statement 2. By using row num together with sorting the data in descending order, this will show top records from the existing query. With the computer data, the housekeeping agency can provide special offers for these customers as targeted marketed customers as their chances of completing the reservation are higher. As you can see, the result shows 5 rows. Next.
Moving onwards to the third statement. The third statement uses the right outer join along with the user's conditions such as where and as well as from. So the right outer join helps to return all records from the employee table as well as those that satisfy the conditions from the service and from table. The scenario involves finding details about the employee such as employee ID, employee name, as well as the service hour and date of the employee that the employee performed the service. As you can see, these are our statements and this are our results. Moving onward to the fourth statement. The fourth statement is a query which uses unary, also known as the self-join. The table used is agents table, where it is assumed that each agent has a supervisor who is an agent as well. In this case, the query is used to find the names of the supervisors of those agents who gain a commission of more than 15 visits. As you can see, this is our query, and this are the names of the supervisors of the agents. Moving onward to the database design. So our database design, as you can see, consists of 6 tables. As you have seen from the start of the video where we were showing you how we created the tables, we have the customer table, house table, service table, and the employee table. And in addition, for the enhanced scenario, we added 2 tables, which are the agent table and equipment table. In this case, you can see that for the customer and the house relationship, one customer can have many houses, but at the same time, one house can only be owned by only one customer. The relationship between house and service is rendered. In this case, one type of service can be rendered to many houses. At the same time, um, but at the same time, one house can be rendered many services. When it comes to the relationship between the service and the employee, we say that one employee can perform many services or can do many services, and at the same time, one service can be done by many employees. At the same time, there's the relationship between the service and equipment which is utilizing, and the equipment and the employee which is used, and the relationship between the agent and employee, whereby the relation here is one to one and one to many. For equipment and employee, it's many and one to many. And for here, it's also one to many, one to many. Thank you so much.